बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदाय 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 श्रील प्रभुपदाय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस पर्वकचार अष्टो शरीरवैनगेशी ऐसी भक्तों संप्रपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस पर्वकचार अष्टो शरीरवैनगेशी भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई महाराज की। अनंत कोट वैष्णव भक्तवंत की। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम को राधा कृष्ण गोवर्धन की। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की। गंगा मैया की। यमुना मैया की। तुलसी देवी की। भक्ति देवी की। हिताई गौर प्रेमंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories Sri Sri Guru Anwar. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, entitled Conclusion, Perfectional Renunciation. Text number 51 to 53. 51. No. I received message from 51 to 53. Huh? I received message from 51 to 53.
50 कर दी, 51 to 53 कर दी.
चलो, anyhow.
53.
Okay.
50 से 53 कर दी.
Anyhow, let's write. Then it is 50 to 53. Okay. Please repeat after me. I think these are 4 words actually. So I speak 3 words and 4th one you speak with me. Okay? Siddhiṁ prāpto yathā brahma tathāpnoti nibodha me samāsenaiva kaunteya niṣṭhā jñānasya parā. Now text number 51. बुद्धिया विशुद्धिया युक्तो धृत्या आत्मनं नियम्य बोलिए ना, धृत्या आत्मनं नियम्य शब्दादीन विषयान् तुक्ता रागद्वेष विदुस्य च विविक्त सेवी लघ्वाशी यज्ञवाक्काय मानसः ध्यान योग परो नित्यं नित्यं समुपासितः. ये लास्ट वर्ष है ना, यू हैव टू रिपीट. ओके. अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विरुच्य निर्मम शांतो विगुच्य निर्मम शांतो ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. नाउ यू स्पीक. अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विगुच्य निर्मम शांतो ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्मम शांतो ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. अहंकारं बलं दर्पं काम क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्मम शांतो ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. Now word meaning and translation. Purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Buddhya with the intelligence, Vishuddhya fully purified, Yukta engaged, Dhritya by determination, Atmanam the self, Niyamya regulating, Cha also, Sabdadim such as sound, Visyan the sense object, Tattva giving up, Raga attachment, Deshu hatred, Vidusya laying aside, Cha also, Vivikta Sevi living in a secluded place. Laguvasi, eating a small quantity. Yathā, having control. Vāk, speech. Kaya, body. Manasah, and mind. Dhyan yoga parā, absorbed in trance. Nityam, 24 hours a day. Vairagyam, detachment. Samuparistah, having taken shelter of. Ahankaram, false ego. Balam, false strength. Darpam, false pride. Kamam, lust. Krodham, anger. Parigraham, and acceptance of material things. Vimukchya, being delivered from. Nirmanah, without a sense of proprietorship. Santah, peaceful. Brahma bhugaya, for self-realization. Kalpate, is qualified.
50 नंबर का मीनिंग
50 का इसका में पढ़ देते 50 के बाद में पढ़ेंगे ठीक हाँ ये कंप्लीट हो गया इसलिए यू स्पीक आफ्टर मी ऑल्सो राइट क्योंकि बिकॉज these are 3 texts actually being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination giving up the object of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind and power of speech, who is always in trance, who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. Now text number 50. सिद्धिं prāpto yathā brahma tathā āpnoti nibodha me samāsenaiva kaunteya niṣṭhā jñānasya parā. O son of Kuntī, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. This chapter name is conclusion, perfection of renunciation. This chapter has 7 sections. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, modes of material nature, worship by birth, pure devotion, surrender, victory. Pure devotion is from text number 49 to 55. Let us discuss something regarding pure devotion. The Bhagavad Gita have 18 chapters, the last chapter 78 text. Whatever the Lord wanted to speak and instructs to the Krishna for the deliverance of this material world, Lord is spoken in earlier chapters from 1 to 17. In this chapter, it is just a summarization of what is spoken in earlier chapters. The Lord is very much merciful to this material world. Lord has completely shown the path of liberation from the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Everybody whosoever residing from lower planets to the higher planet is not untouched from these conditions of birth, death, old age and disease. What is pure devotion? The pure devotional service should be free from desire for any material gain or desire for sense gratification, as these are cultivated through fruitive activities and philosophical speculation. In the Bhaktarasa Sindhu, there is one text like Anne bhlasita sunyam janma karmadi jnana karmadi anavritam ankulena krishnan sulanam bhaktir uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, freely and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. This is called pure devotional service. Generally, the people are engaged in different activities to get some material benefit, while the most philosophers are engaged in proposing transcendental realization through volumes of words, jugglery and speculation. But the pure devotional service to Krishna must be free from material desire. It is achieved by the association of devotees. In the pure devotional service, the surrender to the Lord is very much essential actually. Without surrender to the Lord actually, one cannot gain access to Lord Krishna actually. This is must actually. So those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest of mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by the illusion, who partake of artistic nature of the demons, do not surrender unto me. Those who are not devotees actually. Simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Krishna, one can surmount the instigent laws of material nature. Instigent laws of material nature means that should be free from the repeated cycle of birth and death actually. At this point, a question arises: how is it that the educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of the ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, all power personality of Godhead? Mukti or liberation from the laws of material nature is sought by leaders of mankind in different ways with great plans and perseverance for a great many years and birth. But if the liberation is possible by simply surrendering into the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method actually? Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapil and Kumars, Manu and Vyasdev, Deval, Asit, Janak, Prahlad, Bali and later on Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and many others who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or the path of Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and baffle the knowledge of planning commission. Now, text number 51, 52, 53. Purport: when one is purified by intelligence and he keeps himself in the mode of goodness, thus one becomes the controller of mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the objects of sense gratification. This is the meaning of mind control actually. When mind is under control and intelligence also control, he is not attached to the objects of sense gratification. He is free from attachment and hatred in his activities. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in a secluded place. He does not eat more than what he requires, and he controls the activities of his body and mind. He has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself. Nor has he a desire to make the body fat and strong by accepting so many material things. Because he has no bodily concept of life. He is not falsely proud. He is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of Lord. He is never angry in the absence of sense gratification. Nor does he endeavor to acquire sense objects. Thus, when he is completely free from false ego, he becomes not attached to all the material things, and that is the stage of self-realization of Brahman. This stage is called Brahma stage. When one is free from material conception of life, he becomes peaceful and cannot be agitated. This is described in Bhagavad Gita 2.70. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudra abha pravashanti advat tadvat kamayam pravashanti sarve sa santim āpnoti na kama kami. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. These verses are relating to this self-realization actually. Now, what is the self-realization? Self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position in relation to the Lord. This is very must. This is essential actually. If the one who does not know his constitutional position in relation to the Lord actually, he cannot engage in the devotional service, or he cannot undergo the position of self-realization. Constant position means that we are the eternal servant of the Lord Krishna. The Lord is our master actually. Our duty is to serve the Lord Krishna by all the means actually. This individual soul is a part and parcel of Supreme, and his position should render transcendental service to the Lord. This transcendental contact with the Supreme is called Brahma some person. Self-realization means surrendering. Self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is that actually mame vansho jiva loke jiva bhut sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karsati. This is the relation. Living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which includes the mind. Why they are struggling? Because they do not know the relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they come to know the relationship with the Supreme Person Godhead, then whatever they have got, they feel satisfaction. God, there's a present moment actually, the people are not feeling satisfaction. They want more and more and more. That's why they are struggling very hard actually, and they are working for the sense gratification. They want the opulent life actually. Because of this opulent life, they are working day and night actually. They don't bother for what is the word actually. Why we are suffering actually. Why we are under distressed condition actually. When they comes to know the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then they will engage in the devotional service of the Lord actually. Living entity is the fragmental part and parts of Supreme Personal Godhead eternally. It is not that assume the individuality in his conditioned life. They are not individuality actually. There is no freedom actually. And in his liberated states become one with Supreme Personal Godhead. They cannot be equal with Supreme Personal Godhead actually. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said that according to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansions are called the living entities. These are the two things actually. In other words, the Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion and the living entities are separated expansion. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Ram, Narsingh, Vishnumurti, and all predominating deities in the Vaikunta planets. These separated expansion, the living entities, are eternal servitors. We are servitor. We are the living entities. We are servant to the Lord actually. This is the constant position of ourselves actually. This we must know actually well. Personal expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead are always present. Similarly, these separated expansion of living entities have their identities. All have identities. Fragmented parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portion of his qualities, of which independent is one. Every living entity as an individual soul has its personal individuality and a minute form of independence. By misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul, and by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. In either case, he is qualitatively eternal. As the Supreme Lord is in his liberated state, he is free from the mental condition. and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature. Yes. When he is a conditioned life in this material world, he is dominated by or influenced by the modes of material nature. Because of the modes of material nature, he has to work hard. He has to struggle to live in this material world actually. Living entities, not only human beings, the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material worlds, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even the Vishnus, are all parts and parts of Supreme Lord. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. Living entities are parts and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रिय सर्वभूतात्मा भूतात्मा कुर्वन् अपि न लिप्यते. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is very dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna. Just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. No living entity is separate from Krishna. Everything is with part and parcel of Krishna. Example is given, tree and leaves actually. He knows very well that by pouring water on the roots of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach. The energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. And because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. The importance of mind is that mind should always be engaged in the Krishna consciousness. Then only then the mind is purified. If it is not engaged in Krishna consciousness, the mind cannot be purified actually. Because mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of being deviated from Krishna. Nor there is a chance that he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. If anybody engages his mind in 24 hours actually, he won't get any chance to engage his senses in other material things actually. He does not like to hear anything except topic related to Krishna. What you feel also, I think. I don't find anything in this temple actually who listen to anything else other than Krishna actually. This is the association of devotees. He does not like to give anything which is not offered to Krishna. All you feel. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. That is the sense control. We have not to use anything actually which is not related to Krishna actually. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. One may ask, why then the Arjuna offensive to the others? Arjuna was only superficially offensive because all the assembled persons on the battlefield would continue to live individually as a soul, cannot be slain. So spiritually no one was killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore, Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out orders of Krishna in full consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reactions of work. If we carry out the instructions of Lord Krishna actually, and we do our activities at the instruction of Krishna, we will not be entangled in the material reactions actually. The material reactions are the resulting in our bondage in this material life actually. One who knows perfectly well that everything belongs to Krishna, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that everything is engaged in his service of Lord, naturally has nothing to do with the results of his activities. When the person who is a materialist actually, and when he sees that he is a proprietor of all these things actually, then he is concerned of the results of his activities. When he don't have anything, then why we are concerned actually? When we assume that everything belongs to Krishna actually, then we are not concerned of our results of our activities actually. Even one's material body, being a gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action, can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. Means we are engaged in devotions of the Lord actually. Somebody is just washing the floors, somebody is just washing the material things actually, utensils actually, and somebody is washing the clothes, somebody giving lecture, somebody is doing kirtan, and there are many things, activities in the temple itself. They are all other eternal activities, spiritual activities. Such activities are beyond contamination and sinful reactions. There is no reaction actually. When you are engaged in devotions of the Lord actually, these activities are free from reactions actually. Exactly as the lotus leaf, though remaining in water, is not wet. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवल इंद्रिय अपि योगिना कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगम तुक्ता शुद्ध ए. Yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with his senses only for the purpose of purification. By acting in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of the senses of Krishna, any action, whether of the body, mind, intelligence, or even the senses, is purified of material contamination. There are no material reactions resulting from the activity of Krishna. This is the reason actually why we should act in Krishna consciousness, so that we should not entangle in this material world actually. The purified activities, which are generally called sadachar, can be easily performed by acting in Krishna consciousness. Rup Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, describes as follows. A person acting in Krishna consciousness with his body, mind, intelligence and words is a liberated person. Even within this material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities, he has no false ego, nor does he believe that he is in this material body, nor that he possesses the body. He knows that he is not this body and that this body does not belong to him. He himself belongs to the Krishna and the body too belongs to Krishna. One should think. That is, he is the servant of the Lord Krishna. The body belongs to Lord Krishna. He has not to engage his body in other material things. Only in the service of Lord Krishna, 24 hours. When he applies everything produced of the body, mind, intelligence, words, life, wealth, etc., whatever he may have within his possession, that is for the meant of Krishna service. He is at once dovetailed with Krishna. He is one with Krishna. He is devoid of the false ego that leads one to believe that he is the body. This is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. So everything belongs, including our body, everything belongs to Krishna. Then there is nothing within ourselves or outside ourselves. Then there is no question of reaction, and there is no question of being entangled in this material world. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. Idahi na indyartheshu na karmashu anusyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudsu tada uchyate. A person is said to have attained to yoga when having renounced all material desire. He neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in futile activities. When a person is fully engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is pleased in himself, and thus he is no longer engaged in sense gratification or in futile activities. Otherwise, one must be engaged in sense gratifications, since one cannot live without engagement. Without Krishna consciousness, one must be always seeking self-centered or extended selfish activities. But a Krishna conscious person can do everything for the satisfaction of Krishna and thereby be perfectly detached from sense gratification. One who has no such realization must mechanically try to escape material desire before being elevated to the top rung of the yoga ladder. Udrit atmana atmanam natmana avsadhe atmabhi atmano bandhu atmaneva ripu atmanah. A man must elevate himself. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. The mind and conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practice, the purpose of yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from the attachment to the sense objects. It is stressed that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of niṣṭhā. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and senses. In fact, their pure soul is entangled in this material world because of the mind's ego, which desire to lord it over the material nature. Therefore, mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of the material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. Mind must be trained in such a way that he should not be attracted by glitter of this material world. Actually, he must be attracted by the service of the Lord Krishna. Actually, this is must actually. If you want to deliver yourself from this sense of the material world. Actually, the best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. Mind is the cause of bondage and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense object is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation. Bandhu atmanastasya atmeva atmana jitha atmanastu sastrave vartet atmeva sastravat. For him who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be greatest enemy. We must have the controlled mind actually. If the mind is controlled, he is our friend actually. If mind is not controlled, then he is our enemy. He is living with us actually. चंचलम ही मन कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलबल दृढ़म तस्य हम निग्रम मन्ये वायु एव सुदुष्करम. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Arjuna is asking to the Lord Krishna. Mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. To subdue it, I think it is more difficult than controlling the wind. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Asansyam mana baho manodigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grahayate. It is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice by detachment. So these are the things actually you can engage yourself in the devotion service of the Lord actually, and you can know your position with respect to the Lord Krishna. What is your relationship with Lord Krishna? You must know the self-realization. I think I must stop here actually. Hare Krishna. Any question you want to know?
I have a question.
Yes, come.
Can I come forward and ask?
Yeah, come.
Okay. I have a question related to this. My question is...
You sit here.
Prabhuji, after a lot of self-contemplation, I got to this conclusion that it is very difficult to get rid of these three desires from our life, which is lust, greed and anger. till the time we are living our life on our five senses. So it is very difficult to get rid of from these three desires.
Just to have listen actually, no? That is by practice of the vairagya, by detachment.
But sir, that will come from the self-realization.
No. That will come by the association of devotees. It is not that you remain alone actually, you control your mind actually, you come to that all these things. No. You have to listen. You have to listen the instructions of the Lord Krishna actually, just enunciated in the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, Sri Bhagavatam actually. Alone you can't do anything at all. You have to learn something actually.
That is the reason
That is, you have to engage your senses in the service of Lord. In initial stage, you have to engage your mind in chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna actually. Listening the holy name of Lord Krishna actually. When you do this initially, what will happen? All this dirt in your heart will be cleansed off. When this dirt is cleansed off actually, we will come to know what are the activities, what are the qualities, what is the past life of Lord Krishna. That you will learn actually. You will be attracted to these qualities of Lord Krishna actually. We can't do actually initial stage. You have to engage in the chanting of holy name Lord Krishna actually.
Do I need to know the all 9 or the 10 incarnations of Lord Krishna?
Not that is known, that is the 9 types of devotional service actually. You know first actually. 9 types of devotional service: Sarvam Kirtanam, Ismaram, Archanam Bandham, Dhyasam Sakhyam Nivedanam. I think these are 9 types of devotional service you must know actually. When you only take one of them, you take only the Sravanam, Kirtanam. You do Kirtan actually. Your heart will be cleansed first actually. You must have patience first actually. You have to remain in contact with the devotional service. Association of devotees actually.
So that is the only reason I got down to this place.
It is not a one-day job actually.
No, not the one-day job. I'll say that complete devotion.
Complete devotion means you have to be regular in touch, always regular actually.
What if I want to become a full-time devotee out here?
Everybody, you can be also full-time.
I do not need any salary or anything. I just want to work here as a volunteer.
Then you can meet here in President office actually. His Holiness, His Grace Panchgoda Prabhu actually. You can meet in this office actually. You want to volunteer yourself for the service of Lord Krishna actually. Then they will tell you how you can do that actually.
If not for a longer time, then at least for next few days.
No, few days. It is not like few days. It is not temporary, right?
No, I want to be here on a permanently basis. But if they can allow me for like initial few days, then
no. It is not. It is not actually. They will tell you everything. I do not know the details actually. What is their procedure actually? We have to meet in the office actually. You have patience. You attend the Bhagavad Gita classes actually. Then you will come to your stage actually, or understanding the things actually well actually. Because things will come slowly actually. It will not come at once actually.
What if I say that I have a lot of questions which are striking my mind and which are still unanswered because I'm not finding the...
No, you will find all your questions in Bhagavad Gita this. Because whatever not only text actually, you read very carefully. Each and every this purport of this actually, Prabhupada actually, you will find answer itself in this book actually.
But there is a lot of contradiction between the materialistic world and what's written in Bhagavad Gita. I mean, there is a lot of contradiction.
Definitely there is a contradiction between this material world and the spiritual world actually. That's why actually we just talk of only that how we can engage, how we can transcendence from this physical world to this spiritual world actually. Because the spiritual world is eternal actually. Definitely. It is there actually.
I honestly want to do.
Because actually you have to study continuously. You have to remain continuously in the association devotees. Then and only then you can understand the things well actually. It is not a one-day job. Anything more? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.